Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Recruitment Forum. So now I'm going to go over the judicial process, and basically the judicial process answers what if we have any problems during recruitment. So the steps of the judicial process include the infraction or the issue, so that is the conflict between the two parties. Then it proceeds with informal discussion, the violation report, mediation, the judicial hearing, and the appeals process. So the first part of the judicial process is the infraction. So if you do see something, say something, there are two ways to resolve the issue, and you can either try your best at conflict resolution with informal discussion, and that is the second step of the judicial process. But if you guys aren't able to come up with a resolution just by having the two parties come together and talking about it informally, you guys can also definitely fill out a violation report. So the violation report can be reported by some of these individuals. They include the chapter president on behalf of her chapter, the Panhellenic officer in charge of recruitment, a potential new member, or the fraternity sorority advisor. So that is the amazing Allison Green. So the accusing chapter or party has 30 days to fill out a violation report, and the form should be submitted to the Panhellenic president. The Panhellenic president will then notify the accused chapter with the notice of infraction, and once that sorority does receive the notice of infraction, they should contact the president within 7 days to schedule mediation. So mediation is the next step in the judicial process, and it basically is a facilitated discussion between the two parties involved in the ongoing issue. So this usually occurs 48 hours after the infraction is filed, and it is a confidential discussion. To answer the question, who is there, up to 3 representatives from the accused party will be present, and the accusing side will also be able to have up to 3 representatives as well. And also a third neutral party will be there. They'll be the mediator, and they'll be present to assist the conversation. During this time, the parties have to be willing to be open and candid about the situation. And basically, the goal of mediation is to satisfy both parties that are involved. So both parties will be happy with the solution that's been given. And at this point, there are no sanctions. However, if mediation isn't successful, we do then go to the judicial board hearing. In terms of answering the question, who is there, both parties involved in the conflicts will be represented with 3 representatives, and the Panhellenic Judicial Board will be there to hear the conflict. During this time, everything will remain confidential, and both parties will tell their version of the issue, and the judicial board will be giving out sanctions that are fair and reasonable to the situation. But if either party isn't satisfied with what the judicial board does decide on, they are able to make an appeal, and the issue will then be given to the NPC Panhellenic Judicial Appeals Committee. So just some real talk on the judicial process. Resolving personal conflict is always best. And if you do see something and aren't comfortable confronting it, definitely tell either the Panhellenic Executive Board or Allison Green. And if you think you did violate a rule, definitely just tell us. And most of the time, there isn't a formal report that is filed. It's just informal discussion. So now I'm going to go over some of Pepperdine's hazing policies. So Pepperdine defines hazing, and it includes 3 levels, which is subtle hazing, harassment hazing, and violent hazing. And Pepperdine definitely prohibits any student or student organization from engaging in an act which is humiliating, intimidating, or demeaning, or potentially endangers or puts at risk the health or safety of a student for the purpose of or in connection with initiation, admission into, affiliation with, or as a condition for continued membership in a group or organization. Hazing also includes active or passive participation in such acts and occurs regardless of the willingness to participate in the activities. So now I just wanted to go over some types of hazing. In terms of subtle hazing, it includes any activity that is presented as optional, but has real or perceived negative consequences for non-participation of that activity. In terms of harassment hazing, some examples include, but are not limited to, verbal abuse, threats, stunt or skit nights with humiliating acts, sleep deprivation or disruption, and expecting new members to perform personal services for others. Violent hazing includes examples, but are not limited to forced or coerced alcohol or drug consumption, beating, paddling, any forms of assault, abductions, and exposure to heat or cold without protection. So just going over those examples, hazing can be very scary and is very dangerous. So definitely if you do see something, say something. So now I just wanted to go over some concepts about hazing. So a passive participant is an individual member of the hazing group who stands by and watches the hazing activity perpetrated upon another member and chooses not to do something or say anything that would change the course of action. The passive participant becomes as much of the problem as the perpetrators themselves because they are a contributor and they do perpetrate to the hazing culture. Also, hazing includes active or passive participation in such acts and occurs regardless of the willingness to participate in the action. So if you are a passive participant, definitely that is a big no. You are contributing to hazing as much as the perpetrator, and definitely don't just be someone who does nothing. Definitely speak up and do something. In terms of consent, even if someone agrees to participate in a potentially dangerous activity, this does not remove the responsibility from the perpetrator and the passive participants. It may not be true consent when considering the pressure and desire to belong to the group, and consequently, the implied or express consent of any person toward whom an act of hazing is directed cannot be used as a defense to a charge of hazing. So now I just wanted to give you guys some resources in terms of reporting hazing. If the incident is happening now, you guys, and it is on campus, you guys should reach out to the Department of Public Safety or DPS at 310-506-4441. But if it is happening on off campus, definitely call 911. If you guys are reporting the hazing incident after it's occurred, definitely call DPS at their other number, which is 310-506-4700. And you could also call the Office of Community Standards, which is 310-506-4471, or the Greek Life Coordinator at 310-506-6569. You guys are also welcome to do any anonymous reports through the Life Safe mobile app, or you guys can also call the Wave Tip line by calling their voicemail at 310-506-7634. You guys can also have another resource, which is the anti-hazing hotline for Greek organizations, which is 1-888-NOT-HAZE or 1-888-668-4293. So definitely these are a lot of great resources. So if you do see any signs of hazing, definitely report it. And here are all those numbers that you can call. So now I just wanted to say thank you so much for listening to the recruitment forum. Don't forget to finish the quizzes, which are available to you guys on courses, so that you guys do show that you did participate on the forum. And we are super excited to see you guys during recruitment. And again, thank you so much.